What is up, my future CPAs? Welcome to your go-to guide for crushing your oblicon course and, of course, the LE-SIPA. Today, we are going to demystify a topic that, let's be real, trips up a lot of students: special payments. Let's get right into it.
Okay, so let's set the scene. Imagine your client is in a super tight spot. They owe money, the deadline is looming, but their bank account? Completely empty. Is that it? Is it just game over? Does the creditor automatically win? Well, not so fast. The law actually has some really clutch moves for when cash just isn't an option.
I want you to think of these special payments as like your financial cheat codes, you know? When you can't just throw cash at a problem, you've got to know which of these four power plays to use to legally and effectively clear that debt. So, we're going to break down Dacion and Pago, payment by Cession, application of payment, and that classic 1-2 punch, tender of payment and consignation. And trust me, nailing these concepts isn't just about passing an exam, it's about mastering the game.
First up, we've got the two concepts that are basically evil twins: Dacion and Pago, and payment by Cession. They both involve using property to pay off a debt, but the details are what will make or break your answer on an exam. Let's get into it.
So what's the real deal with Dacion and Pago? Well, think of it like a trade-in. You owe someone cash, but instead you give them something else of value. Maybe your laptop, maybe a piece of land, and they agree to call it even. It's a straight-up swap, property for debt.
Okay, major key alert for the LECPA right here. This is the one thing you absolutely positively have to remember about Dacion and Pago. Ownership of that property actually transfers to the creditor. It's basically like you sold them the item and the price was the debt you owed. You have to lock that concept in your brain.
Now let's switch gears over to payment by Cession. This is a totally different ballgame. Instead of a simple one-on-one trade, here the debtor hands over all their assets to all their creditors. The goal isn't to make the creditors the new owners, not at all. It's to give them the green light to sell everything off and get paid from the money they make.
This slide right here, this is your ultimate cheat sheet for telling these two apart. Dacion is usually a one-on-one deal, right? While Cession is more of a group project. But the biggest giveaway is ownership. It changes hands in Dacion, it does not in Cession. Also, remember that Cession is for when the debtor is in some serious financial trouble, while Dacion isn't necessarily. And here's the kicker: Dacion can wipe out the whole debt, but Cession, it only covers whatever the creditors can get from selling the assets.
All right, moving on. Next up, we're diving into the logistics of payment. We're talking application of payment versus tender of payment and consignation. This is all about what to do when even paying with cash gets, well, complicated.
So when does application of payment even come into play? Imagine you owe your friend money for 3 different things: $20 for lunch last week, $50 for concert tickets, and $100 for that book you borrowed and lost. You hand them $70. Where does that money go? That's what application of payment is all about figuring out. And this is exactly where it gets tricky. What if you just hand over the money but don't say which debt it's for? Does your friend get to decide? Or does the law have a say? What do you think happens? So the law actually has a very clear pecking order for this. First dibs go to you, the debtor. You get to choose. But if you stay silent, the creditor can call the shots on the receipt. If everybody's silent, the law steps in and pays off what's called the most onerous debt first. Think of that as the debt that's the biggest headache, the one with the highest interest, or the one with collateral attached. And if all the debts are basically the same, the payment just gets split between them proportionately.
Last but not least, we've got a 2-for-1 special. Step 1 is tender of payment. That's you making the offer to pay. Step 2 is consignation. That's you taking it to the next level when the creditor, for whatever reason, says no. The offer is just the start. The big move of depositing it with the court is what actually seals the deal and kills the debt.
And you absolutely 100% need to know this for the LECPA. Tender of payment by itself is basically useless. You can offer to pay all day long, but if the creditor refuses and you don't follow through with consignation, you are still on the hook for that debt. Tender is just the warm-up. Consignation is the main event that actually counts.
But here's a little pro tip. Sometimes you can actually skip the offer and go straight to consignation. If the creditor is totally MIA, or they can't legally accept the payment, or maybe they're just being shady and refusing to give you a receipt, you can take it straight to the court. Same goes if you've got 2 different people claiming you owe them for the same debt, or if the original document got lost. In these special cases, you can go right to the main event.
All right, you've officially made it through the training montage. Now it's time for the final boss, the ultimate cheat sheet. This is everything we've talked about, all in one place. Let's lock it in.
This right here, this is your golden ticket for the LECPA. Just look at the purpose row. That's your quick guide. Dacion is for trading. Cession is for selling. Application is for directing. And consignation is for forcing payment. And do not forget the insolvency row. Only Cession requires that you're in a financial crisis. Seriously, screenshot this, print it out, whatever you need to do to burn it into your memory.
All right, you knew it was coming. Pop quiz time. Let's see if you've really been paying attention. We're going to hit you with the classic exam-style question to see if you can put all this new knowledge to the test. Okay, here's the scenario. Your client owes a bank for 3 different loans, all for $100,000. But one of those loans is secured by their house. That's a big deal. So they make a $100,000 payment, but don't say where it should go. The bank doesn't either. Which loan gets paid off? Come on, you know this. It's all about that most onerous rule. The one with the mortgage is the most burdensome, right? You've got this. Thanks for tuning in, and go absolutely crush those exams.